Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Killswitch back again for another Teacher Tuesday episode. This one's going to be a little bit different, though. So, this episode, I'm going to cover the in game item shop, how to navigate it and understanding it better, what all these different things mean, what you're looking at, because I know it can seem a little bit confusing at first whenever you're looking at it. So, we'll cover pretty much all the basics and then everything there is to know about it. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. So, you can see here I've got the item shop pulled up, and this is you pull up the item shop in game by pressing. Hold on just a second here. So, you'll be pressing I. So, anytime throughout the game, you can press I and it'll bring up the shop. But the only time that you can actually buy items is when you're in base or the fountain or whatever you want to call it. So whenever you're back at base, you can pull up the item shop here and it'll bring you to this screen. So this is going to give you all of your updated stats based off of the items that you have, the levels that you have, et cetera, your passives. It's going to calculate everything right here for you. It'll also tell you your aspects up here, how many points you have in them, how much you have to spend, and how much you're getting on your bonus stat from that faction or aspect, what the bonus that you're getting from that is. That's kind of here on this right side here. This down here, this middle part, is going to be your actual inventory, and then this is where it's going to display items that you're looking at, and I'll kind of explain that as we go a little bit. And then see, notice up here you have different tabs. So you have a recommended tab, and you have an all items tab. It's always going to default to your recommended. It's always going to give you this recommended screen based off of the role and the hero that you're playing. Right now I'm playing Chimera. It's just a bot game. You can see it's madness going on in the world behind me. But for this video, I'm just simply going over the shop here. So basically what it's doing is it's given me a recommended item set and different kind of categories for the hero that I'm playing. And you could just as easily click on these items and it'll do the same thing as what I'm going to show you in a little bit. But you can click on this item, it displays it over here, and then it shows you what it builds into. So it's got the three different items, the three different upgraded items of this, and it also shows that upgraded component item in this builds into field here. And so what this does is this will allow you to click on one of these items that you were building into. So say, you know, you have this item here, you click on it and you want to see what it builds into, and then you want to see how you need to build it. You can click on these, whichever one you're using. For this case, I'll just use the red one. You click on it and it's going to bring up that item tree. And so what this item tree is basically telling you that for this item, each one of these components and upgraded components goes into this item. Now, that's not to say that you have to buy every single one of these to complete this item. What that means is if you have, so say you start with an affliction as a jungler, this item will build into this legendary item here. It costs 2,000 gold total. Now, if you're to buy the affliction, that's going to cost 400 gold. That's going to take 400 gold off the total price of this item, as will all of these components essentially. So these two Academy pistols here build into this leather satchel. This is 350 and 350. So that in theory would take 700 off the price of this item. And then once you have enough to buy the leather satchel, what happens is, because these two items build into it, if you were to buy these two and then get 200 more gold or 250 more gold to be able to buy this, these will go away from your inventory and then they will be replaced with this item here. So if you watch down in my inventory here, I'll go ahead and buy these two Academy pistols. So I've got these sitting here. So now I have enough gold to buy the leather satchel. So I'll go ahead and buy it, which you can double click on it, or you can hit buy down here, whichever you prefer. I just am in the habit of double clicking. And so you notice how now I have a leather satchel in my inventory, but my 2 academy pistols are gone. That's because in the order of building here, you have your items that go into the next upgraded component. So these smaller items down here are considered components. The baseline components are typically anywhere from like 350, 400, sometimes 450, depending on what they are. But those are generally your baseline components. They'll typically give 1 stat. And then you have upgraded components like this leather satchel here. This is like the second level of your component. And depending on what stats it provides, it'll give a different potential baseline component. But after that, so now you see how the price of this reduced from 2,000 to 1050. Well, that's because I put 950 gold into this item. So you see I've got 950 towards it. And so if you were to go 750 into this as well, that would reduce the price down to 300. So if you were to buy both of these upgraded components, you would only need 300 gold to finish this item, if that makes sense. So it seems quite complicated, but really when you pull this item up, like any item you're looking at, let's say you watched a video or something, you watched a tutorial, you watched a build guide, whatever it may be, and you see, hey, I need to build this item. I need to build Demon Sword. So you can click on that item and you pull it up. You see how this costs 2050 gold? Well, notice we also have a leather satchel. So the upgraded components and the base components are universal to items. If you don't have a full item built yet, say you change your mind halfway through the game, or halfway through building an item, say you have this upgraded affliction here and you have this leather satchel towards this Reign of Fervor that you're building, but then you decide that you're not going to finish this item. Well, this can also be applied to another item that uses the same upgraded component, like Demon Sword in this case. There's other items like these upgraded components are universal throughout, so basically they're there to provide stats, and legendary items will utilize those. Like, the same legendary items, different legendary items can use the same upgraded components, basically. And if I didn't already explain components, the difference between components and legendary items, again, your components are going to be your items, your low-cost items that build into a legendary item. Your legendary items are noticeable by like a color scheme of some type. The background will typically be what the faction is. Now, that's not like always the case, but your legendary items are going to be your final build out of your components. So that covers this screen for the most part, but something I do want to do is kind of show you a little bit more what you can do with this shop. You could very well just, build from your recommended for most of the game. And I mean, that's probably a good place to start in most cases for newer players. Like, I know I've talked to a couple of my buddies who have joined in recently, and we're trying to understand the shop. And they said that this stuff is confusing because it's telling you need this item, but when you click on it, it's telling you all these other items and blah, 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 blah. So I wanted to cover that part of it, so that made a little bit more sense. But now what I'm going to show you is the All Items tab. So if you click on All Items, you can see every single item that's purchasable in the in-game shop. There is a search bar, so if there's something specific you're looking for, you can always search that. Like we'll say Demon Sword. It brings up Demonic Embrace, but if we wanted to get more specific with it, we could start typing in Demon Sword and it would come up. But this is going to show you every single item from the smallest component and consumables to your largest, and it's in order of cost. So it's going to be your highest cost at the very bottom. You can just scroll that down. And basically what you can do from here is you can look at these items and kind of read them and see what they do. Maybe you're looking for an item that gives particular stats or something like that, or maybe you're just trying to find an item you know the name of, you just don't remember how to spell it, or you don't, whatever it may be. You can come to here. And this is going to be the same way with the recommended tab. If you click on the item, it's going to pull up over here the components list that you need to build into this, and then it's going to show you your full item and the cost. So these are right here. This can be done from here just the same way as in the recommended tab. Now, I have one more thing that I want to show you guys, and this isn't something that a lot of new people see. Is there's actually a effectively like a sort by tab over here on the left side. You see all these little icons. You can actually sort the item shop under all items by each category. You'll see you have a consumables. So if I click on this, it's going to bring up consumable components. So you've got your potions, your wards, your gate scroll, your omni potion, like those are going to be your consumables. Jungle items, it's not going to have, you have to unclick certain categories. Like I can't just keep, start clicking through, like clicking on all these, because it's just going to it's going to highlight everything. It's going to sort it by all of these. So you have to make sure when you're going through here that you unclick the tab that you were on. So say I was looking for consumables and now I want to look for jungle items. I need to clear that filter on the consumables to bring up your jungle items. So you have your base component affliction, you have your upgraded component affliction, and then you have your legendary affliction items right here. And they are all labeled. So anytime you hover over it, it'll tell you what that filter will apply. So if you're looking for items that just specifically give physical power, we can see all the components that give physical power as a stat, and we can see all the legendary items that give physical power as a stat. Now you can be even more precise with it too. Say you want an item that gives physical power and critical chance. So here's your items that give both of those stats. So that's something to keep in mind over here too, especially when you're new, you're still learning the items, the shop. You don't know the names of everything. You see, the enemy's building into this Tyke's fire cannon, whatever it may be. I need to build into that. I don't know what the name of it is. I know it's a red, cool looking cannon thing, but how do I find it? Well, you can come over here, and if you're playing ADC, you're going to be needing physical power. And then you can find it based off of what it looks like, the little emblem icon thing. Or you can go just no filter, you go to all items and you can scroll through until you find it down here at the bottom. So that's how you use this over here. And then, that's how all this stuff works, what all this information is. Like I said, I know it can seem a little bit like intimidating at first, but don't let it be, right? You have legendary items and what builds into those legendary items, your components here. That it's telling you with this tree here, it's showing you that this builds into this, and then this is one of the 3 components that goes into this. So at some point you'll need a combination of these items, or 2,800 gold to buy this outright, or you'll need to buy each one of these, and then you'll need another 1,000 gold. Basically all it is it's splitting it up into affordable pieces for you to still be able to utilize a stat before you get to the full item, if that makes sense. So I hope this helps. Again, I always say thank you guys for all your support. I hope all of these Teacher Tuesday episodes are helping you guys. Again, if you have something that you want to see, something that you want covered, a hero you want covered, whatever it may be, put it in the comments, or find me on the SMS Discord server, whatever it is. Just let me know. I'm always in the Discord talking with people, chatting. So you can find me in there. Again, thank you guys, and I hope it helps. See you later.